I think I just got that in just in time. Hi guys, welcome to our very special edition of our Monday Live, which is all about spiritual awakening and spiritual awakening process. So I'm really happy to have three guests with us. There's Lena, there's Drew, and there's Matthew. So Lena is in London. Drew, I think, said it was in New York. And Matthew, where were you from?
I'm actually in Virginia.
You're Virginia, fabulous. So I'm just going to go around and everybody's going to introduce themselves. And then what we're going to do is that I'm going to ask them these 9 questions about spiritual awakening. And these 9 questions will be, if they're not already, in the box below. And so it'll be really interesting to see different people's points of view. So welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. So Lena, if you just want to do a quick talk about just say a few words about who you are and your not your experiences, because we're going to go into that, but just a bit about who you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lisa, not Lena. Sorry. I'm from London. I'm actually a model. I do film, TV. I'm an extra made in Chelsea. I'm an ambassador. I'm an author, and I'm a photographer and editor.
Great! Wow. Superb. Okay, Drew, you're up.
Hi, I'm Drew, and I was a physics major actually, but ended up going into acting, and I was acting in New York City for a while, and then I went into the sports field because I played sports all my life. I also have a minor in music theory, so I've done a lot of things. But then I lost the sports job at the beginning of the year, which will come back next year, and then went on a big spiritual trip. I put some things in the comments below, but March 27th started a whole journey for me. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Looking forward to hearing about it. Superb. Okay, Matthew. Hi.
Well, I've been in music most of my life. I've been a singer of a band. That's pretty much where my passion has always been, and I've invested heavily into my passion and have many songs written and recorded on the internet available through a variety of different bands I was involved in. My day job isn't nearly as exciting, but I am a private investigator for a major car rental company. And I think that, that to me, the fact that I'm a private investigator would kind of make sense that I'm now a seeker in the spiritual world. So I'm an investigator of life now.
Great. Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to all of these. That's going to be really exciting. And of course, welcome to Monica. Monica and I are not speaking at the same time because our microphones seem to hit off each other. So although we love each other in real life, our microphones do not. Or maybe they do because they make an awful noise. So Monica, I can't actually get to my microphone to mute me and myself, but if you can, then you can mute me and say hello yourself.
Yes, I can. Hi, everyone. Hello from London, as usual. So a rare chance to talk tonight, but I'm looking forward to hearing all the stories. And it's so nice to meet you virtually, guys. So we've been talking before and exchanging texts. So I'm really excited to hear all your stories.
Great. So let's get on with it. Right down. So Lisa, you're up first. Okay. So when was your first spiritual experience? Oh, she's at the door.
Hi. Yeah. So I had to, obviously freeze the mic because of the noise. Right. Well, okay. My spiritual awakening, I've always felt, I don't know, something, I couldn't put my finger on it. I went through a bad stage with my family, and there was this one particular night. It was many years ago now. I would say about 15, maybe more. I was at a birthday party. Things were going quite badly between me and the family. It was harsh times, whole big family mess. I was really upset. My family couldn't understand why and what they were doing to me. And I just ended up going outside for a little cry because I was just so overwhelmed with the lack of understanding and support. And it had been going on for many years. So I stepped outside, out in the back, and I just had a good cry. And it was a still night, you know, summer evening, dark, but really still. Then all of a sudden, there was this huge gush of wind just whirl around me. And I did feel something like quite overpowering, like it was a spirit. And I do believe that my nan, she died when I was extremely young. I was around 7 or something. And she was the only one in the family that actually understood me, that, you know, was caring for me, would listen to me. And she died in a tragic car accident. But on this night, like I'm saying, I stood outside, I was crying, and I just felt this huge gust of wind going around me, and I felt the power of my nan. I felt the power of her, and since then, I've just felt my inner strength building up and better and better and better. And I always feel that she's like, whenever I'm in a bad place, that she's right there. You know, so all of a sudden there was this wind swirling around me, and then it just stopped again. As quickly as it started, it just stopped and just went completely still.
Fabulous. Okay,
yeah.
so, superb. Okay, so what are the benefits you've had from your spiritual experience? Have you had any benefits?
Like I say, yeah, just inner strength. You know, the belief that I haven't lost her. She's kind of guiding me. Yeah, no, it's just the inner strength that she's sort of like right there saying, right, you can do this, you know, the benefits of like powering through, and just every time I'm at a low point, I can just feel her energy.
Nice, good. So it looks like you've got one of your ancestors as a guide, which is superb. Okay, well, was that your most profound experience, spiritual experience, or have you had others?
That was quite profound. I've actually felt a hand on my shoulder once before. The chair was pushed up against the wall. I just felt a really vivid hand on my shoulder. I turned thinking it might be the cat, but I have these little things that do actually happen around the house sometimes. Like drawers being left open. I always close my drawers and turn the lights off. But I've come in, the light will be on and one of the drawers will be open. What other one? There was actually a Jenga box. We've never played Jenga in a long time. It always sat in the same place. And one day I came downstairs and it was just in the middle of the room. Still in the box, but it was in the middle of the room. So I've had little things like that happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a cat.
Yeah, so they might be speaking to you or telling you things.
They could be, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Who was your most profound teacher?
In what sense do you mean teacher?
Well, have you ever been, you know, do you ever have a look at spiritual teachers? So say, for example, even normal sort of teachers who help you with things, sort of, you know, somebody like Wayne Dyer or somebody like Sadhguru or like somebody like all sorts of different people.
Not really, no.
Okay.
Not really, no. I mean, like I say, it's just these things that happen around me, and I'm quite spiritual anyway. I've got my incense, I've got my crystals, I've got my candles, you know, I do like oracle readings, like tarot cards as well, which I've actually done for some friends. So I've always felt that sort of energy surge. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So what spiritual advice would you give to somebody starting out on their spiritual journey?
Listen or feel the energy around you. Sometimes it's not about what you're going through, it's about another energy that is surrounding you at the time. You know, if you've believed in something for a long time, carry on believing it even if others don't. Just listen, like feel the feelings, feel the energies around you, because it means something, definitely.
Great. Okay. So what advice would you give to someone who is further along on their journey?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Just enjoy it, really. Just enjoy it. You were chosen for a reason to have these emotions and these feelings happen to you. So just carry on with it. A lot of people won't understand. You've obviously been chosen as the person that you are to have these things come into your life. So just treasure it. Just enjoy it.
Good stuff. Okay. Okay. Is there a key lesson that stood out for you?
A key lesson? Belief. That is a definite thing. Just believe, you know, because if you don't believe it and then you pass it on as something else, but the thing that I take from this is more belief that we are being sort of guided. We've got our own little, obviously, path to choose, but we have got a path already made out for guts, and you need to listen to some, like, see the signs. Do you know what I mean? And believe that the sign is telling you something, and just go with your gut instinct.
Right. Okay. Is there a key lesson that stood out for you? Is there something that you thought, oh, I really benefited by learning that?
Just all the little signs that are happening to me, like to maybe change my, I can't really, not a key lesson as such. No, I'm just going with the flow of it at the moment and just letting it take me where it needs to take me. Okay,
great stuff. All right. Is there an exercise that contributed to your spiritual awakening? So do you meditate or do you do yoga, something like that?
I do meditate a little bit, but mainly I go to like either a field where it's nice and open and you're with nature, because that's where you get a lot of your vibe from. I do sit out in the field a lot, just like to meditate, to have a little think, and music is a big deal for me to sort of help me clear my head of all the stresses that you go on a daily life basis and you're worrying about. But music helps that escape that out of my mind and makes me, I don't know, if it makes me feel things that helps me believe it even more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, it makes sense. Great. Okay. And lastly, what is your favorite spiritual practices?
I would say the oracle cards, because if you're like, even if I do one in the mornings, it sort of builds my day around it. It gives me the belief in the cards of like a standing ground to start off with on the day. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely the oracle cards be that for me.
Superb, great stuff. Thanks, Lisa. So if you want to stay
You're
with
welcome.
us, and then we'll go through everyone else's, and then we're going to have a talk. Thank you very much, sweetheart.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Drew, you're on the soapbox next. That's
Okay.
an English word. Soapbox.
Well,
Actually,
we use it
Americans have it as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Fabulous. Let's go straight into it then. Okay, so when was your first spiritual experience?
I mean, I've been having like dreams since I was very, very young, and some of them have been very powerful, but I don't want to get into that as much. But also, I was in Ohio when there was a tornado, one of the worst tornadoes in the United States back in 72, 73, something like that. And the town right next to me was wiped out. And when we drove through the town that next day, there was like a church that was still standing, and everything else was just flat. And there was something about that line about the peacemaker. I forget the line from the Bible, but the peacemaker line. And when I saw that on the church, it was like shining. There was still a gold cross, and it was shining. Actually, the night before, I was at a Catholic school. I'm not even religious now, I'm spiritual, different. But back then I was, we had to get under our tables and it got pitch black and the gold cross was shining that night. But anyway, the next day or 2 days later, whenever we went through this town, when I saw the peacemaker, that really resonated with me and it felt a sense of destiny. And it's funny because Lisa was talking about wind. So that was something to do with wind, the tornado that picked out the town. But I mean, things happened all my life. And my grandmother died in 1980, my first experience with death. And then it was shortly after that, I had an incredibly powerful dream about her. This is going to sound crazy, but she came out of the grave on a motorcycle and blasted through a Thanksgiving dinner.
As one does.
Yeah. My grandmother, there was flames and everything. And we were at Thanksgiving dinner and she just blasted up through. And I was scared when I woke up. But ever since that time, I was connected with spirits, her and other spirits. And that was in the 80s, and it got stronger in the 90s. And then I was having ghost experiences similar to what Lisa was saying, all kinds of things like that. And then in the 2000s, it just kept getting stronger. And in 2007, I was very close to a cat of mine who was like my daughter, and my ex and I, and it was like our daughter. And I was meditating over her when she passed, and her soul went right through me. And I can't explain it except that it felt like she was actually my ex's grandmother, who was already passed as well, had come to get her. And they went together, and up on the ceiling, it just felt like energy flying all around. And I was laughing uncontrollably and crying at the same time, and so exhilarated for her for I don't know how long, a minute or so. And then my mind went, oh, she's dead. She passed away. And then it became like the sorrow thing happened. but my cat stayed. It's a very incredible soul from this cat, and she stayed with me for a while after that. So then from that, the spirituality, I was just connected with loved ones, strangers, people I don't know, famous people I don't know. Just that went on, and then a very dear friend of mine passed last year, and that huge connection spiritually there. And then this year, whatever started happening this year blows all that right out of the water. So that's like a synopsis right there.
Okay, wow, that's cool. Yes, there's I think I should have done this in a different order, because I think we should put number 2 as what's your most profound spiritual experience as we were talking. So I'll just move it up one.
Well, most profound.
So obviously, you've already given us lots of profound ones. Have you got another one in mind?
I mean, in 2012 was a big year for me. 2018 was huge. In fact, I started making concepts yearly and monthly and weekly for myself in 2018. And I had a mission statement, and the 4th thing on the mission statement was spiritual awakening, even though I had been through all these things. But it was fun to find your guys' group, because I was like, oh, I wrote that down. But then again, the most profound is on March 27th of this year, when I had the virus. There's no doubt, and I was struggling breathing, and had a bad cough and burning chest, and I couldn't believe it was happening, to be honest with you, because I was like, I just couldn't believe it. I've had bronchial situations in my past, so I'm kind of not surprised, but I never had issue breathing in my life. And I had called my parents, because I'm not a doctor person, so I called them to set up. I was in Philadelphia staying with a friend, and I called them in the middle of the night and said, please have someone call me tomorrow, because I'm heading to the doctors tomorrow, to the hospital. I didn't know. I trusted them because they know people. And as I got panicked, I wonder how many people get panicked from this and makes it so much worse, because the breathing got really bad as I panicked. But thank God I was meditating every day. I meditated for some 20 years now, but I couldn't do it consistently. And an angel friend of mine, a real living person, but something she said in a Buddhist meeting I was in last September, started me meditating every day. And I believe that saved my life. And I've told her that, because about 1 a.m, I started to meditate through this thing. And I don't know if I should go into it right now, but what came to me during that was beyond by far anything. But I mean, I saw my body. I had already meditated with the virus, believe it or not, a couple of weeks before that. I did a meditation that brought that in. And I told it to take it easy on me. So excuse me, there's a bug. So when I asked the virus, like right on the spot, what are you doing? Because I asked you to take it easy. And it said to me right back, and then it said, it's not me. And I saw my body going crazy, my cells and stuff. I don't know how to explain it, except if you saw those munchkins on Wizard of Oz, it's not what it looked like, but I don't know how to explain it. They were like these incredible. My body was so in love and trying so hard for me. I just was crying from the love I saw the body had for me. But I said to it, settle down now, stop, because you don't need to do what you're doing. And literally, I started to be able to breathe again. My body slowed down. The breathing came back. I came out of whatever state I was in, and my breathing was slightly better. And then I went into another state, and it was an astral trip. That's all I can say. I was flying around. I was told that this virus isn't even from this planet. I was told wild things, that it started in China and something's going to happen in China in the next month. It's going to finish this whole thing. Just a whole bunch of things. And that 2021, 2022 is incredible years, and people are going to come together like we've never seen, especially 2022.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
it was.
Yeah, that was definitely a benefit of your spiritual experience that helped you get through that. So that.
And I was
really
breathing
cool.
okay that night. By 3 a.m., I was okay, and my cough was okay. And I called my mom. It was 3:12 a.m. I'll never forget it. And I said, "Don't get a doctor. I'm totally fine now." I have no idea what was that, but it changed my life. I told her on the spot, "This changed my life." And then what happened after that, the rest of this year, that's another story for another day.
Great stuff. Okay. So who was your most profound teacher?
Well, I had 3 acting teachers that or my three gurus, I guess I'd call them. And I don't think anybody will know their names, but they were amazing. And they
Oh, come
one,
on, tell us. Absolutely.
well, the one name was Bernice. Well, there's Catherine Gaffigan, a teacher, an acting teacher in New York City, who's passed away. They all passed away now. Russ McKay, who I had in Pittsburgh when I was in Pittsburgh, and he's with me all the time now. For a long time, he wasn't around, and I was surprised because I get so many spirits. But now he's with me and a friend of mine, of all things, all the time now. But anyways, and then Bernice. And Bernice actually used the phrase, let it, let it. She said it all the time, let it. And that became my phrase for this year. In the beginning of the year, my concept for this year was let it. And boy, everything's been let it. It's been the big thing this year. But anyways, those are my three, yeah.
Great. Okay. So what spiritual advice would you give to somebody starting out on their spiritual journey?
Ease. Trust it. Ease. Just take it easy. Just the things that come, and Lisa was hitting on this too, the things that come from the higher densities, the whatever, are light and easy. They're not hammering nails, and they're not even big emotions. They're like a whisper. So just trust it and let it, and just easy. That's what I'd say.
Great. That's a good one. That's
easy,
a very good one there. Just let it. There's your let it coming out again. Okay. So what advice would you give to someone who is further on their journey?
Ease.
Again, okay. Number 2, ease.
But
and let it.
and trust, and just trust it, because I talk to a lot of people now who are finding they're coming into their power. It's amazing. And yet, and in myself still, it's like, it's hard to trust it, but it's all there. It's true. And it's not even these I've had many more experiences after March 27th that will just make people go, what? But I myself am saying, like, this can't be, but it is, and it's true. And just trust yourself. Trust it. We're powerful creatures, beings. We're amazing. We're way more than this flesh and blood. So just trust it.
Great. Okay. So, is there a key lesson that stood out for you?
Key lesson. I don't know.
Not really.
It's just experiences. If there is a lesson, again, I hate to keep saying it, but it's just let it happen, because a lot of this just happened to me, and it's all the rest of the year. It just keeps happening, and if I put any effort, it pushes it away. When I just let it come, it happens like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely comes when you want, not when you want. That is a definite, yes.
Yeah, and Nikki, timing too. You're so right. Timing is everything. So, and timing has to be, you have to let the timing. You can't force it, so. Yeah.
Okay. Is there an exercise that contributed to your spiritual awakening? So, for example, did you do yoga or meditation or something else?
Yeah, well, I've done all that. I've done all the yogas and all the other stuff, Buddhist stuff. I did runes. I used to do astrology professionally when I was in my 20s back in the 90s. So I did. I love astrology. I still think it's a great science art. But the biggest thing is meditation. No doubt. I think it may have kept me here, that I'm here right now, and it helps me every single day. And it doesn't have to be hard. Again, easy. It could be 2 minutes. It doesn't, just can sit and relax and chill out. And meditation. Yeah.
Super. Okay. And lastly, what are your favorite spiritual practices, apart from obviously meditation?
Meditation. I do. I mean, you know what? I did astrology a long time ago, and got away from it for years. And this year, all the astrologers kind of knew this year was going to be crazy, because it was all in the plant. You could see the alignments were going to be this year.
Okay.
Am I still here?
Yes, you're still on. Yes.
I thought I left. And then,
okay.
Everybody,
don't worry about it.
Everybody disappeared for a second.
You might be out of your body, but your body.
Yeah. No, because the screens went blank on us. No, but I've really been back into astrology this year and gotten so much from it. And when I came back, I left Philly in August and came back to New York, and been here and sort of let the astrology go, thinking I'm looking at it too much. And I just let it go. And honestly, I'm looking at it again. It really helps kind of give me an idea of things. It's a good thing. So maybe astrology is not a silly thing. It's a true thing, I think. So maybe that.
Absolutely, I think a lot of people, swear by it. So
Yeah.
I think it's what each person has on their specific path as to, what really attracts them.
Absolutely.
So that's good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Drew.
Okay.
Matthew is now. Thank you. And Matthew, you're next
I'm
up
next.
on the soapbox. Yay. Okay. So Matthew, when was your first spiritual experience?
I think my first real spiritual experience happened a long time ago. My dad was a preacher in a Nazarene church for the first 15 years of my life. And when I used to watch him preach on stage, it was just magical. And I felt what I feel now, but as a little child, you don't really know what's going on inside of your own being, so you don't really know how to explain it. But to watch him was just absolutely magical. But then abruptly one day when I was 15, he quit the ministry and joined a biker gang, and it really left me with a sense of lack of identity, because that's all I'd ever known until that point. Was I was a preacher's kid. I was proud of my father. I was in Bible quizzing. I knew everything about the Bible backwards and forwards. And it left me with, I guess, a bit of an identity crisis. So I spent the next formidable years of my life until I was like 19, just kind of bouncing around from religion to religion, just trying to find something that I really clicked with. And I found this book by Carlos Castaneda called Journey to Ixtlan. And it's about a shaman. And Carlos is his student. And I felt like whenever I would read those books, that same feeling that I had when I watched my father preach. So I think that there's been a few different major times in my life where I had a major spiritual awakening, but probably the most profound one, I would say, occurred, I would say probably January of this year, where I really really started not just understanding the true nature of who and what I am as a human being, but I also felt it. And my heart chakra exploded one day after I was done meditating, and I just realized all of a sudden, just at one time, just that I am everything. Everything is me. And my heart chakra exploded, and I felt the love of the entire world, like every human on Earth's love, just being poured into my heart. And I just still brings me to tears to this day. But it brought me to tears. Yeah, and it moved me beyond whatever I felt like I was capable of actually feeling as a human. I had no idea that humans could do that.
The spirit certainly blasts you with these sort of different experiences, which will blow you away. And that was fabulous that you had that one.
Like a missile, like an explosion. Okay. That's the best way to put it.
So what are the benefits that you've had from your spiritual experience?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I was thinking a lot about that question when Monica sent those questions to us earlier to ponder. And I don't really look at my spirituality as anything that benefits me. I don't really do it for a benefit. I do it because my body tells me to do it, and I don't really feel. It's funny because I don't do it for a benefit, but what I'm benefited from when I do it is everything. It's changed my life completely. It's transformed me from literally person A to person Z within a really short time frame. And how it's benefited me is that I think the biggest benefit that I've gotten from it is my relationships with other people. How open and willing I am now to communicate, listen, empathize, My relationship with my daughter is the most important thing in the world to me, and she's just now, she'll be graduating in a couple months. She's graduating a few months early. She's 17, so she's full on a teenager and got those hormones and things going on. And I think she would probably agree. And she thinks that this spirituality stuff is silly and daddy's just going through this phase and this and that, But she can tell you that I'm just like a completely different father. So I'd say probably if I had to say, there was a benefit, and the biggest benefit I'm getting out of it, it's my relationship with my daughter.
That's great. Yeah, we actually put that question in not to show people that it's just to show people that there are benefits. A lot of people go through a lot of things that are not good. So we're trying to highlight that there are good things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's almost like you basically have to let go of wanting something out of this, and things will you'll get stuff out of it.
Absolutely. You can't ask and you can't tell when, and as long as you leave those two alone, it's okay.
Exactly.
But of course, they're quite difficult to leave alone.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next one is, who was your most profound teacher?
That's a tough question. I think pretty much like Drew, I have a little almost gang of gurus that I learned from. I started off my spiritual path about a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer, but about a year and a half ago. So it was like sometime last March, I really started meditating every day. I started taking it really seriously, and I started off because I went through a really, really bad relationship breakup back in 2018, and it took me like 6 months to get over it. So I started off by watching YouTube videos on how to get over somebody, personal improvement videos and things like that. And I stumbled onto this wonderful man named Wayne Dyer.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. Because Castaneda is one of his gurus.
Yes. So I kind of just kept piggybacking from there, and I went from Wayne Dyer to Stuart Wilde, who both of those gentlemen have now passed away. But then that got me like really curious. I'm like, what is all this stuff that they're talking about? I didn't really understand it at first, but I knew what they were saying was right. And it was right for me. I felt a connection with it immediately. So I piggybacked into another wonderful soul who is definitely still with us. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. But Sadhguru from India.
You are joking.
Absolutely not joking. He saved my life. Is that the best way I can put it? I also really enjoy Adyashanti. He's also another fantastic teacher. Great common sense spirituality. Not all the fluff and unicorns and rainbows and things like that. It's here's the truth. And I'm a truth guy, and so I connected with that right away. And then of course the lovely Eckhart Tolle is another one of my very, very, very favorite teachers, who teaches really good things about presence and things like that.
Yeah, I've just come back from Sadhguru's ashram in India.
Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. Oh,
I know.
That's one of my dreams. I'd like to do that one day, very much.
Yeah,
very
I'll
much.
tell you all about it on another time.
And he actually has an ashram here in the States now in Nashville, Tennessee.
He's here in the States doing his thing with the Native American Indians, which is another of my things.
He's on his motorcycle ride right now.
Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, what spiritual advice would you give to somebody who's starting out on their spiritual journey?
The best advice that I could give them is keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. You're not going to understand things right away. You're not going to, it's going to sound like a foreign language at first. It's going to sound like nothing you've ever heard. You can be Christian, you can be Buddhist, you can be, a Zen monk, you can be anything in the traditional realm of religion and still do this. This is basically a way to open the door to go deeper into whatever you want to go into. I'm not a religious person anymore. Organized religion and things like that, that's not my thing. But I have a very personal spiritual journey, and it's the only reason that I have gotten as far as I've gotten into it is because I kept an open mind from the get-go. And I've always been like that. Like I said, even when I was in my teens, I learned about shamanism and things like that. You just have to have an open mind, because you got to start somewhere. You definitely have to, be willing to learn things that you've never even really heard of before.
Absolutely. Okay. So what advice would you give to someone who is further along in their journey?
Don't give up. Don't give up. Just because you haven't seen results doesn't mean that things aren't working for you. Don't give up. Stay at it. Find your routine. Make a routine. Find time every day for this. I personally, while I'm working, I sit at my desk and I listen to Sadhguru, Adyashanti, and Eckhart Tolle all day long. So I get like a college level, crash course in spirituality every single day. And even on my weekends, while I'm working around the house, I'm just listening to spirituality. Now, I'm kind of, I guess, busting myself here, because I should be listening to my music and learning lyrics for my band, but I can't help myself. It's just too attractive to me to miss out on the teachings.
Fabulous. Okay, so what lesson stood out for you?
I'm sorry, repeat the question again.
What lesson stood out for you? Is there a lesson that you learned that you could tell everybody else that might help them?
I would say, as far as lessons go, you'll find that out for yourself. It's really tough for me to be able to tell somebody else what lesson they're going to get from things. I can say this again, my lesson was that I had a long way to go when it comes to, I had anger issues. I had issues with anxiety, depression, the full gamut of awful suffering, in my life. And the best lesson I can say that I've gotten from it is that you never want to take anything for granted, nothing for granted. Let everything be as it is, and really don't force your opinions, your wants, your desires on the world. The world is muddy and cloudy enough as it is. It doesn't need your help.
Okay, great. Okay, so was there an exercise that contributed to your spiritual awakening? So
100%.
Yeah.
100% meditation. I can't begin to say how much it's changed my life. I started meditating a few years ago, but I got really serious about it about a year and a half ago. Meditation every day. I can't really get my day started without it. It doesn't feel right. It's like, if you're a coffee drinker, a lot of people can't get their day started without a cup of coffee. Well, mine's coffee and meditation for sure.
Okay.
So
you sound like my shaman. My shaman.
Yeah.
Meditation,
Yeah,
meditation,
exactly.
meditation.
Yep.
Okay.
Find a good spot where you feel, safe. Like Adyashanti, he had a little hut in his backyard when he was in his early 20s at his parents' house, when he lived with his parents, and he had a little hut that he would go back there and meditate in, and that's where he actually, ended up enlightening himself. So for me, mine is the edge and corner of my bed, and then I have a nice dock that I have. That's an acorn that just fell from a tree. So, but I also have a dock outside that I built this past summer. I live on a canal, so my backyard backs up to a canal, and I have a dock that I built myself that I sit on the edge of and I meditate, and it's just stunningly gorgeous back there. So
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And the last question is, what are your favorite spiritual practices? But I think Meditate might be the answer to that one.
Yeah, I think what it is really you do your best in listening to your gurus, your teachers, and then you take that into your daily life. Because, and I will say this, as much importance as I put on meditation, nothing will give you the practice of spirituality like real life. You'll find that real life is the best place to practice spirituality. You can't find that on the with your butt on a yoga mat. Not like you can when your daughter's yelling at you or your boss is upset with you, or that's when you really learn about spirituality is in daily life, for sure.
Good stuff. Superb. Well, that was absolutely fabulous, all three of you. Thank you very much. Monica, do you want to say something? Do you want to mute me and then say something? And then I'll take over and we'll go around do a discussion. Is there anybody on the chats or anything who wants to say anything? Hello? Monica, no, she's left us now. She was so pissed off with that, she decided to leave. Okay, let's talk about ourselves then while she recalibrates or something. Anyway, oh, she might be back. Hang on.
I think she's coming back.
Yeah.
There she is.
I think she keeps getting stuck in the door or something.
I can see the future. I knew she was coming back.
I am afraid that I won't be able to stay much longer, though.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Monica, do you want to, is there any questions or anything?
I just want to say I got goosebumps listening to you all, and I feel really connected with all of you. It was such a special time, that 40-odd minutes with you. So thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure people can benefit from your stories and can be inspired by them. I am certainly inspired, and I'm just grateful for you all.
The feeling is mutual.
Thank you, Monica.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's a star. Does anybody like to say anything else? Would we like to talk about anything, or is that okay for tonight?
I just want to really just reiterate to everybody, just don't give up. Just don't give up. Just stay with it. It will change your life.
Yeah, no, definitely. Believe it, if you have little things come to you, yeah. If you have little things come to you, believe in it, and just don't think about it too much, because you might not understand things straight away, but just let it flow. Just let it flow and experience it, because it can change your life.
It's interesting too when Matthew was mentioning about his experience, and after on March 27th, all through April, like every single day, I cried at one point about something joyous, sad, didn't matter. The emotions, it was the same exact thing. In fact, when I came out of that night, the one thing I said to my mom when I called her to say, "Don't see the doctor now," is I also said, we need ventilators, but I also said, I want to help. I just want to be there and help. I want to be there for people. I've never felt that in my life. It was, I think you put it even better than I did, Matthew, but I like the way you put it. But yeah, just feeling this incredible connectedness. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was a crazy month of April after that. Yeah, and just what is today is not what is here 5 minutes from now or tomorrow. I mean, so everybody needs to remember that's like the impermanence thing in Buddhism. But whatever you want to call it, I don't care. But there are things coming. Believe me, there are things coming. They're going to be a lot better than this. Amazing.
Right. And to piggyback off of what Drew said is the most important thing. And a lot of people now, I will say this. Let me back up to one of your questions about what advice do I have for beginners and intermediate spiritual students. You're going to want to change the world. That's going to be one of the things that you're going to want to do so badly. You're going to want to share your experiences with the entire world, and you're going to want to write a book. You're going to want to do all these things. Just focus on yourself, because the only way that you can change the world is by transforming yourself first. That's it.
Absolutely. It has actually inspired me. I'm actually writing a book at the moment.
That's excellent.
Good
Awesome.
stuff. Yeah.
I need to. I'll
I
get a
am writing
copy.
a book, yeah. I've got the front cover sorted. I'm talking to people about book deals. It's still in the printing process, but yeah, it's definitely inspired me, and I'm writing a book about a lot of things at the moment, yeah, which is all connected.
That's great.
Great stuff. Yeah. That's cool.
Wonderful.
Okay. Anybody else got anything else to say, Drew?
Well, one of these days, hopefully, I'll have a platform as well. What happened on that day that I explained, that's like 2% of what happened the rest of the year. So it's been incredible. I could write books on the last 30 days, my time back in New York, my 40 days in New York at the beaches. I could just go on and on and on. The things that have happened this year. That's incredible.
It's a special
I
year.
can't begin to start talking about it. Yeah. But thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Nikki.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you guys. It was wonderful to have you all. I was very interested in all your answers and things, and it's really interesting. So thank you, everybody. And hopefully other people who are listening to this, listening to the replay, will be able to benefit by hearing your experiences. So I'll just give you one last thing from Monica. Over to you, Monica.
Well, I think the advice given was wonderful, and people will definitely benefit. So let's have you back again. We can talk more about what happened 40 days later or 60 days later. Time just seems to fly. Yay, absolutely. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.